Good morning, everyone. I am Sweta Sarangi, and in your third semester, I'm going to teach you about the environmental studies. Okay, so in the previous class, we have studied about our natural resources. It is our second chapter, and in that chapter, we have studied about the world food problems and what are the effects of modern agriculture. So we have studied a lot of effects of modern agriculture, like water salinity, salinity, then waterlogging, overgrazing, soil erosion, contamination of with the water level and soil. So these are the over irrigation. These are the modern agricultural. These are the effects on environment due to the modern agricultural system. Okay. So next is our fertilizers. Okay. Uh, as we know that by the increasing of population, the due to the growth of population rate is increasing. In the same way, our food demand, demand of food is also increasing. But nowadays, our production is decreasing. So we need to improve, or we need to enhance our production, our food production. So nowadays people are using the modern techniques. They are apply fertilizers, pesticides to the soil. Okay, so there is also a negativity of this type of there is also a negativity of this fertilizers and pesticides. Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you that what is fertilizers. Nutrients are lost from agricultural fields through runoff, okay, drainage or attachment to eroded soil particles. The amounts lost depend on the soil type and organic matter content, the climate, slope of the land, and depth to groundwater, as well as on the amount and type of fertilizer and irrigation used. The three major nutrients in fertilizers are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Okay, of this, nitrogen is the most readily lost because of its high solubility in the nitrate form. Leaching of nitrate from agricultural fields can elevate concentration in underlying groundwater to levels unacceptable for drinking water quality. Okay. Next is our phosphorus. It doesn't leach as readily as nitrate because it is more tightly bound to soil particles. However, it is carried with eroded soils into surface water bodies where it may cause excessive growth of aquatic plants. If this process proceeds far enough, lakes and reservoirs become choked with decaying mats of algae which have offensive odor and can it can cause fish kills from the resulting lack of dissolved oxygen. Next is our potassium. So it is the third major nutrient in fertilizer. It doesn't cause water quality problems because it is not hazardous in drinking water and is not a limiting nutrient for growth of aquatic plants. It is tightly held by soil particles and so can be removed from fields by erosion but generally not by leaching. So there is two problems in fertilizers. First is our micronutrient imbalance and second is our nitrate pollution. So first is chemical fertilizers contain nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium which when applied it disturb the balance of nutrients that are found in the soil mass. Okay, and the second one is our nitrate pollution. Due to the excess use of nitrogenous fertilizers in the fields, it leads to increase the amount of nitrogen up to contamination level. So this is the problems related to the use of the vastly use of the fertilizers. Okay, next is our pesticides problems. Okay, so what are the pesticides problem? First one is our death of non-target organisms. Uh, The trend toward intensive crop production in modern farming has led to increased potential for damage by pests and diseases. Predators that would be present in a mixed biological community are not supported by large fields of a single crop. So farmers instead rely on chemical measures for crop protection. One drawback to this is that pesticides generally kill not only the pest of concern but also a wide range of other organisms, including beneficials, insect and other pest predators. Once the effect of pesticides wears off, the pest species is likely to recover more rapidly than its predators because of differences in the available food supply. So another drawback to the increasing pesticide use is the development of resistance in pest species. The individual pests that survive pesticides application continue to breed, gradually producing a population with greater tolerance to the chemical control pest population. Okay, and due to the use of pesticides, nowadays people are suffering from cancer diseases. It also enhances the risk of cancer disease in human, and most of the pesticides that we are using in our agricultural land, it is not biodegradable and it consumed in the food chain. We are going to study about food chain briefly in the next chapter, that is our ecosystem. Okay. Next is our energy resources. So we have completed our food resources. Now we are going to switch on energy resources. So what do you mean by energy? The capacity of doing work is called as energy. If we can lift up to a 50 kg of weight, that means that's our capacity, and if capacity is known as our the capacity which due to that we can do that work is our energy. That's called our energy. So energy cannot be created or destroyed. We cannot create an energy or destroy it. It only be transferred from one form to another form. Okay, so it is needed by all living organisms and vegetations for biochemical reactions of their cell. Okay, it is a power which is needed in one form or other for work done. Long before most of the power available to human society was limited to solar energy trapped by green plants which produced organic matter. Biological oxidation of the organic matter provided fuel to muscle power. The fire was the first form of known energy used for cooking and heating purposes. The formation of fossil fuels. And what are the examples of fossil fuels? I have told you before that the coal, oil, and natural gas is also due to photosynthesis carried on by plants which occurred millions of years ago. Now the things are changed drastically for the development activities. Energy resources have their own importance. Energy consumption of a nation is usually considered as an index of its development. Okay, understood. Next is our that energy resources can be divided into two categories. First is our conventional source of energy or non-renewable source of energy, and second is our non-conventional source of energy or renewable source of energy. So, what do you mean by renewable source of energy? The energy resources which can be in renewable, which can be replenished or renewed over a period of time is called as our renewable source of energy. We can renew it, we can restore it. For example, soil, forest, groundwater, biogas, biomass, solar energy, etc. So these are the examples of renewable source of energy or non-conventional source of energy. Next is our non-renewable source of energy. The source of energy which cannot be replenished or restored in any way is called as our non-renewable source of energy, which we cannot be restored or renewed. So what are the examples of the non-renewable source of energy? First is our coal, petroleum and natural gas. Okay.